As of recently, I've been working a full-time marketing job from home while running my graphic design business, while running my YouTube channel. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you my top tips for how to have a productive week, juggling jobs, businesses, and just regular life. So let's get into it. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you my top productivity tips that I've had to master recently in order to get things done and have a super productive week. The first tip, which is like step 0 in this, and I promise I'll make it quick, is you have to take care of your body. You have to take care of yourself. You have to get a full night's sleep, eat healthy, exercise regularly, and it's easier said than done. Trust me, I know. I drink a lot of coffee in order to stay physically awake, and honestly, it's not been doing it for me, and so that is why I started drinking MagicMind. This is MagicMind. It's a productivity drink. How cool is that? First of all, I am obsessed with the packaging. It's just so cute, and even just looking at this pretty little bottle gets me inspired for the day. The colors even matched with the aesthetic of this co-working space that I was working in. Honestly, the taste and the flavor is not bad at all. I really like it. Its main ingredient is matcha, so if you like matcha, it does have that matcha flavor mixed with some sweet and sour elements. It's definitely an acquired taste that you can easily learn to appreciate over some time. If you don't think it's sweet enough, you can also add in some extra honey. It already has honey in it, but I like to add a little bit more and mix it with some oat milk to extend the quantity of it because it's very concentrated, and doing this will dilute it. After replacing my daily morning coffee with MagicMind, I noticed that I wasn't crashing in the afternoon and needing that second cup of coffee that I normally take, so I would definitely say that it has all the great benefits of natural caffeine without that crash later in the day. So what's actually in it? The green color obviously comes from the matcha green tea. Then there is honey for a little sweetness and various herbs and mushrooms that are in the categories of adaptogenics and nootropics. On their website, they have a lot of information about what each ingredient is and what adaptogenics and nootropics are, but I'll just briefly explain that matcha is where the natural caffeine comes from. The adaptogenic herbs have a stress release function, and the nootropic supplements increase blood circulation, which improve your cognitive functions. All in all, I really like the product and I highly recommend it. You should use the link in the description, which is magicmind.co/BrittanyNew, and enter my code BrittanyNew20 at checkout so that you can get 20% off of your order and try it out for yourself. See how it can help you be more productive. So the real step 1 in productivity is using planners, schedules, and lists. I'm bundling them all together because basically it's just the practice of putting your thoughts, ideas, and to-dos down on paper, either physical paper or digitally. I like to have a paper journal, paper to-do lists, paper schedules even, and paper calendars. And I provided some free templates for you to make your own planners, schedules, and lists, which you can find in the description of this video. You can download them, customize them, and print them out, and I'll show you how I use them myself. I actually have a productivity coach. Her name is Lois, and she's going to share with you some top tips on listing and scheduling. And these are tips that I really found helpful. So this is Lois. She is a financial and productivity coach. And Lois, why don't you tell us some tips on how to make lists and use them efficiently?
Sure. So there's a kind of 4-step rule that I always look at when creating lists and scheduling and to make them as efficient as possible. So there's, like I mentioned, there's 4 of them. The first one is a list. I wouldn't even say it's a list. Essentially, if you have something to do and it takes you less than 2 minutes, and you know it's going to take you less than 2 minutes, you don't put that on a list, because what's the point? You're going to have a list of all these things, and it's going to be a huge list, and it's really unnecessary to put those things on your to-do list. So if it takes you less than 2 minutes, do it straight away and don't put it on a list. Secondly, there you have the immediate to-do list. So if there's something that you know that you need to do today and it's important to you, then you pop that on your to-do list. It doesn't necessarily have to be today, it could be this week, but you know you need to do it in the near future. Thirdly, you have your someday list, which is essentially things that you know you want to do, but you don't necessarily need to do it right away. It doesn't have any urgency or any importancy. And then fourthly, you have your calendar, which is anything with a deadline or a date. You put it in your calendar, because storing all this information in your head is really difficult, especially when it comes to dates. So anyone's birthday, any deadline I have, any gym classes, everything goes in my calendar so that it just kind of, I don't have to worry about remembering times and dates. So that goes straight into my calendar. And these kind of four lists, four techniques are from the book called Getting Things Done by Robert Allen. And I highly recommend reading that book, but that's kind of a synopsis of those four techniques. And it's really kind of helped me for the past 2 years, really, in just organizing myself and my life and making it more efficient and productive.
Wonderful. Thank you for letting us know that. I've been starting to implement some of these tips, especially that 2-minute rule. I mean, I don't know how many times I've written down, take out the trash on a to-do list when I could just take out the trash, right? When I make a daily plan, I always like to think of my one big thing. This is the one thing that you really want to get done to have a successful day. The other tip that I have is start with the small things first on your daily to-do list. And so this will help you have a sense of accomplishment first thing in the morning, and it will give you motivation throughout the rest of your day. If you want to learn more about getting a lot of things done in the morning, I have another video on waking up at 5 a.m., which is actually one of my favorite videos that I've done because it was such a fun experiment. And spoiler alert, I highly recommend waking up early in the morning to getting things done before you start work. Even if I'm not always able to do that myself, it's still a very recommendable thing to do. I personally have a daily, weekly, and monthly checklist that work with a dry erase function. Every day, every week, and every month, I'm checking off certain things off that I want to accomplish, and then I can recycle it for the next day, week, or month without having to keep printing more, but it still gives me the act of like checking things off physically. In my next video, I'm going to go more deeply on how to create a personalized planner and journal. This is something that I do with a lot of my clients who are life coaches. They love creating custom journals and planners for their clients. So if you want to learn how to create them and print them, then watch my next video and I will link that down below when it's done. Tip number 2 is to structure your day with the Pomodoro technique. This is good for the times of the day when you need to be focused and working. The Pomodoro technique is something I've kind of heard about in various books and things like this, but the person who really inspired me to start using it is my productivity coach, Lois, because she swears by it. She teaches it to all of her clients and she finds it to be very helpful. So Lois is going to explain how the Pomodoro technique works.
So essentially the Pomodoro technique is setting a timer for 25 minutes and trying to completely focus during that 25 minutes on one task. We often find ourselves during the day procrastinating or taking longer on tasks than we should because maybe we get distracted by our phone, by another application coming up on our laptop, people coming in the room, etc., etc. So the Pomodoro technique really allows you to just fully focus during those 25 minutes. And it kind of is like a little challenge to yourself. You're trying to get this task done that maybe would normally take 45 minutes or an hour in 25 minutes. And I find it really helpful in trying to just be a little bit faster than you usually would. Now, it's not to say that all tasks are just going to take 25 minutes, but it kind of allows you to time block. So you would focus on the task for 25 minutes, you would have a break for 5 minutes, then you would do another 25 minutes, maybe it's on the same task or a different task if it's a longer task, then have a break for 5 minutes. And essentially you keep doing that until after 4 times you take a longer break, because we as humans don't like sitting and focusing for a long amount of time, and actually we can't do it. So it's really an effective technique to just try out, to just see if you find yourself getting distracted or you can't focus properly, or you know you've got so much to get done in a day, try doing the 25-minute time blocking and the Pomodoro technique, and hopefully you'll see some really great results.
Thank you. Since you told me this technique, I've been trying it, and as a total newbie to the Pomodoro technique, the one thing that you see as an immediate benefit is that if you I kind of space out sometimes. So if you have spaced out for a long chunk of your Pomodoro, you notice and you're aware of it. So when you hear that timer go off, you're like, what have I done? Oh, nothing. Okay. So let's pivot and let's be better this next Pomodoro.
Exactly. And it only means you're quote unquote wasting shorter amounts of time than hours on land. You can even do it if you have an issue with scrolling through Instagram, which I know a lot of people do. Set a time for 25 minutes And then when it goes off, you're going to realize, oh my gosh, I've been scrolling through Instagram for 25 minutes. How unproductive is this? Or maybe you need to do it for your work, but it just allows you to really just hone in on being more efficient with your time. What some of my clients do when I tell them about the Pomodoro technique, some of them have a really innovative way of trying to do this 25 minutes. So rather than just setting a timer on their phone, what they'll do is they'll play music for a 25-minute music block. So they'll go on YouTube, search Pomodoro technique, concentration music, and then there'll be a video that they can listen to passively for these 25 minutes whilst also doing a task, because studies show that actually listening to music without lyrics help with productivity.
Thank you, Lois, for sharing that with us, and thanks for all the techniques that you've given me. You've been really helping with my productivity. My final hack to having a productive week is a combination of accountability and reflection. Accountability is so important because just because you have a really good productive day or really good productive week once doesn't mean you're going to keep being consistent at it. So having a consistent accountability structure is really important to long-term success. That's why I have a productivity coach, and we meet regularly so that we can make sure that I'm staying up with my goals. I also have certain friends that we have accountability meetings, and we show each other what we've been working on and make sure that we're getting things done. But you should be accountable with someone other than yourself for best practices. And the way to be accountable to yourself is through self-reflection. So if you have a journal, at the end of every week, write down what you were good at, what needed work, what didn't get done, and why didn't it get done. And in my next video, I'm gonna have specific reflection pages that you can use in your personalized planner if you wanna do more reflection activities. So now that I've given you my top productivity tips, I wanna encourage you to give MagicMind a try. They are so good for you, and don't have the same negative effects that coffee has. So it's really helping me with my transition to take coffee at a healthy rate and also not be so dependent on it. In addition, I have some free templates for you down below so that you can create your schedules and your lists and get all of your planning in order. In order to use the free templates, all you need is a free Canva account. And if you don't have a Canva account already, then there's a link in the description that will help you create a totally free account with Canva. So use my link in order to sign up. And don't forget to watch my next video on how to create a custom journal and planner, which I'm really excited about. So I will link that down below when it's done. Well, that's it. I hope you have the best, most productive week ever, and many more productive weeks to come using some of these tips. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in my next one about making a customized journal and planner.